everybody, and welcome to That CBD Show. I'm Christy Burkhead, and with me is Drew Burkhead today. Last week, we talked a little bit about the CBD market, moving from a $590 million industry all the way up to a $22 billion industry in about 4 years. We talked about health conditions that CBD could possibly help with and our personal testimonials on that. And we also talked a little bit about the endocannabinoid system and its importance. So today, we are going to start talking about some announcements from our company, Zilis.
Well, yeah, we're going to cover differences between marijuana and hemp. That's some of the things we're going to get into. And then common myths about CBD. We're going to touch upon common myths about CBD. And then, time permitting, we're going to look into what to look for when purchasing a CBD. So before we do that, though, I wanted to give you and update you a little bit, and all of you, some major market mover announcements that have come out just in the past week from a really phenomenal company in the space, in the CBD space, Zilis. And we have personally worked with Zilis as well. And some of the things that they have come out with is a partnership with a group that goes by Halo for Freedom.
Yeah,
now,
this is awesome.
This is a partnership that was just announced. We're very excited about this. This Halo for Freedom group is one that we're still learning about ourselves and getting familiar with, because the announcement is so fresh and new. But as you start to look at the founder and what this group is doing, they're basically working to leave no veteran behind when they come back for things that they need physically and mentally. So we've got some neat things that are going to be coming out. Zilis has some neat things that are going to be coming out from there. Also, too, at a local level, the company's Zilis is looking to partner with local 501c3 organizations at the local level to work with them and to get them access to CBD that they can then therefore in turn get out into veterans' hands. So that's 501c3 groups that are working with veterans. So feel free to contact us through our information to find out more about that program and see if we can get your organization tied into that, which is great news. Another announcement that they had was Jonathan Miller. He's an attorney that comes with, the accolades that Jonathan Miller comes with are unbelievable, but he is an attorney, and he is working in the hemp space. This gentleman here, his prior work, he was elected two-term state treasurer and finance cabinet secretary, former state Democratic Party chair and primetime speaker at the 2000 Democratic National Convention. He's worked at Capitol Hill. And his accolades go on from there. And he was instrumental in working in the 2014 effort of the Farm Bill that we touch upon in these conversations. So Jonathan is also legal counsel for the U.S. Hemp Roundtable. Now, what that means is that this group is actually the leader, the vanguards in this space with writing new legislation and laws and governance around the CBD space. So Jonathan is an amazing guy and really setting the way in this legislative world of hemp. And on top of that, he is now going to be representing Zilis solely in that space of CBD distribution. So that was the announcement there, and that's why that's so key, and that shows what that company's doing in the marketplace. Finally, there's going to be some new labeling that comes out in the future, and that's going to be really important to be able to meet the qualifications to get that labeling, so some companies just aren't going to be able to do that. And then another thing the company announced was a trial-size CBD topical, a whole new line of the topical, but in a trial size for people to try. So just a whole lot of announcements that came out of Zilis this past week, and I just wanted to cover those. So let's jump into the difference between marijuana and hemp.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. I think the main thing that I understand is that with industrial hemp, the THC, or the component that can get you high, is really low in hemp, or almost non-existent in hemp, where in marijuana it's much higher. But that's the only real difference that I know between the two plants. It's
kind of, that kind of is the case. So we're going to reference Ministry of Hemp today as a website. We talked about Project CBD a lot last week. So we jump over to Ministry of Hemp, and they kind of say that anything that has a THC content that's lower than, say, a 0.3%, that federal legal limit, and down, they're really classifying into the hemp space. Now, hemp itself is just more of an industrial plant, though. Its fibers, the things that it can be used for, are more industrial and have different purposes. And so there's over, in Popular Science, I think, several years ago, it even listed in their magazine, there's over 25 1,000 uses for hemp. They're making everything from plastic, biodegradable, to concrete products.
Well, Europe that's kind of an oxymoron, biodegradable plastic.
It is, though. It's pressed, so Europe is way ahead of us on this. They're making concrete out of it, you know, and so that points back to the Farm Bill, like getting that approved so that we can get this stuff growing, because hemp is, you're not getting that THC high out of it, the psychotropic effect out of that plant. So that's the biggest thing I think when it comes to the difference, consumer level.
So the difference, the 2018 Farm Bill is primarily focused on making it legal to grow hemp in the United States, correct?
Hemp, and then to work with hemp-derived products. Yeah, hemp-derived, so the oils.
You can't do that.
Well, you can through the pilot programs,
but,
you know, through the state. So, I mean,
just not a private person can just start growing it.
Yeah, there's limitations as far as what. So, in fact, you know, we're importing a lot of it from other countries. You know, we're importing from Canada, and there's a global market from hemp that everyone's tapping into. I think the China market is 200 million in hemp. I think it's probably bigger than that, but that's a number I just came across recently.
Okay.
But hemp is really, so the marijuana side of it, that's where you start to get that THC content,
and that's, get the high from
the psychotropic effect. There's differences in how it's grown. There's differences, you know, hemp can be up to, you know, 20 feet tall. It can look differently. I mean, a hemp operation farm, you're going to be able to tell the difference from a marijuana operation farm. There's different methods, there's different equipment, and there's really a split off of what that hemp plant is. Okay. But when we talk about CBD, we'll talk a lot about hemp-derived CBD, because we have all the cannabidiols that come out of there and all those that side of it.
So hemp has all of the healing properties that marijuana has.
Well, it has all the cannabidiols, you know, but you're not getting that THC content. Yeah. Right. So I think in some instances you can you know, get that THC down. I know with certain companies, I know Zilis for one, is able to even put on their packaging less than 0.0% THC. Right. Now there may be a shred of it in there, you know, which in some ways can be good because it's still working alongside the cannabidiols in some fashion, you know, as the plant should. But then at the same token, it's becoming non-detectable on drug tests. At least 50 that I've seen, you know, coming back as non-detectable on this, and I mean for extended period of time, you know, being on that product. We can't say that there's no psycho effect because people will feel better, anxiety. I mean, so there's things happening, but we say no psychotropic effect to that because of the
low THC.
Yeah, and I can quote you here. There's things that say you can take the CBD all you want, and you're not going to have the effects. But I think we're going to jump to a commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some of the common myths about CBD.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Tricia up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
Hi, welcome back to That CBD Show. When we just left our last segment, we were doing some announcement and we were talking about the differences between marijuana and hemp. So now we'd like to move on to talking with you guys a little bit about common myths about CBD.
And probably the most common myth that we have that we deal with, number one, is does CBD get you high, or CBD get you high?
Does CBD get you high? Everybody wants to know for different reasons.
Yeah, we're still breaking down that wall, that barrier. That's where we're at in this, some of the infancy of learning and education. And I think that's why we talked about hemp versus marijuana in our last segment, to just kind of cut to the chase of that. To separate that.
We have a doctor friend that is in this business with us, and he has something that he says all the time, and that is that THC gets you high and CBD gets you healthy.
That's true.
Yeah. So
and there's also other schools of thought that look at the balance of that. How do those components work together, and THC and CBD, and because there could be value in all of that, but when you get into a hemp-based product, a hemp-based CBD product, especially with a company that has it certified and you have your documentation, you're going to find that you just can't get a psychotropic effect from that hemp-derived CBD. There's just not enough THC in it to begin with, and there's just not a method that you could use to extract it to even get to that point. Right. So,
and doesn't CBD have a little bit of a balancing effect in that it doesn't allow the body to absorb as much THC? Is that true? I think I've read that. And heard
it actually will, in the case of when somebody's smoking marijuana, it will actually restrict the CB1 receptor so that it limits that. It's kind of like the big bouncer in the room, making sure that everything...
Only lets somebody get so high.
Okay. And then... so we're talking about that. So we covered that down a little
about
bit.
CBD. So does
do we have that
CBD
down?
get you high? I think we've got that. So next.
All right. So then, is it legal?
All right.
All right. So I'll reference. So today we're kind of picking on Ministry of Hemp, but they have some good documents in here, and I'll just read from one of their documents. So, is CBD legal? Yes. CBD oil made from industrial hemp plants are legal to be sold and bought in the United States. So in 2014, Congress and President Obama signed into law this Agricultural Act of 2014. It's also known as the Farm Bill. So under Section 7606, federal law does allow for the cultivation, processing, marketing of hemp and hemp products, which would include cannabinoids derived from industrial hemp. So that's where all the CBD rides under this. I know that there's still some confusion with some people in some other areas, but that's where we sit with this.
Areas other than where we are. Florida doesn't seem to have much confusion right now about it, but I know some friends in other areas, they hear of some things.
Yeah, and we talk, and going back to Jonathan Miller, I mean, that's their cause with the Hemp Roundtable, really, is to go into areas and states and clear up this confusion, because under U.S. federal law, industrial hemp products containing less than 0.3% THC can be commercially shipped in all 50 states.
Okay. So there is absolutely no problem with it anywhere.
Miss,
right.
Do we have then, all CBD is the same?
Absolutely not. I think coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to go through our personal checklist that we would advise when purchasing a CBD, but all CBD is definitely not created equal.
That is true. And then, so single molecule pharmaceuticals, that is something called an isolate CBD, where there's just taking apart, is going to be superior to the crude whole plant, just Mother Nature's version.
Right. No, absolutely not, because the body only is going to recognize something in its full state, its molecular state that matches. So the cannabidiol that comes from a hemp plant, that molecular structure mimics that of what the body makes. So the body recognizes that and doesn't need to create any kind of other chemical or anything to compensate. But when you put an isolate, just take a part of the plant out, then the body has to compensate. The body doesn't recognize it, so it has to compensate just like it would any other drug chemical that you might put in it. It has to compensate. So ultimately with an isolate like that, you're going to get side effects with something, because the body has to continuously compensate for something it doesn't recognize.
Right.
But yeah, that's huge. But pharmaceutical companies can't use the whole hemp plant. They can't use the whole thing because they can't patent that. All of us own all the plants.
Right.
That belongs to everyone, so they can't do anything with that.
Right.
So that's crazy. So they have to pull it apart and make it less effective, so that then they can patent it and actually put it into a form that's going to not only be less effective than a full spectrum CBD, but it's going to also cause more problems down the line for someone.
Right.
And then they can charge 3,000% more for it.
What was the name of that FDA-approved CBD that just got Epidiolex?
Yeah, that sounds
EP. It
sounds right. But
you can look it up. But I think
it's for seizures in children primarily, I think, is what they are using it for.
Yeah, that's what I read. $32,000 a year for the.
Yeah, it's anywhere from like $2,800 to $4,500 a month, depending on where you are in the country.
Okay.
Per month. to take that, and it's less effective than just purchasing a really good, really clean CBD that's full spectrum that you could probably buy for less than $150 a month. It's going to be less effective and cause more problems.
Okay.
So that just blows my mind.
I have another one.
Yeah.
High doses of CBD work better than low doses.
No, absolutely not. I think I've found in experience with this and working with people that really it's best to start low for a couple of reasons. I think you can sort of flood the system like you can a car. You can put too much in it and cause it to be even sluggish from CBD, and just there's no reason to waste it. It's a good idea to take little bits of it and start slow and see how you're going to do and what kind of improvements you're going to make until you know exactly where you should be with your dosage.
Yeah, I think patience is a little bit of a virtue when it comes to this. It's a supplement. It's not an overnight thing. It's not something that you're going to get solved on YouTube right away. I'm guilty of wanting, quick solutions, but when it comes to your body and getting something back and normalized, it's going to take a little bit of time just to work with this. I kind of go back to when it comes to CBD, and always what fascinates me is the science of it, this ECS system that it's working with. So I know it's working. We know it's working. We know scientifically the research of what's happening inside the body. So, I mean, that has made it invaluable to me. I know I'll continue to take it. But, because you have that research, then I guess I lost my train of thought, but just having the research there in general, knowing that it's working. But
well, you're saying patience, and for me, it was definitely patience. When I started taking the CBD, I didn't notice anything right away at all. I didn't get better sleep. I didn't anything. It took several weeks for me to really start feeling something. So, that I think that is really important to start slow and start low with CBD and then build up as you go. I think that's really important for a number of reasons, because it can take some time to have the full effect on your system.
Well, thank you for that. We're going to roll out to commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to look at what to look for when purchasing a CBD.
All right.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Tricia up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
All right, we're back here at the CBD show. When just at last commercial break, we were talking with John Gaston, the producer behind this, fantastic producer, and he he said, one thing that a question that comes up, because John is a big fan of our product. He said one question that comes up is, can you get addicted to this? Can you get addicted to CBD?
And so, I get that question occasionally too. So
yeah, so we ran a lot through this show about those THC contents. So I mean, that's not happening where you're getting addiction into that psychotropic world. And honestly, I haven't found any report anywhere in any research that I've done that shows
CBD
that
is
addictive.
Definitely,
we know that it's not, because we know the science of it, unless you get addicted to body balance and feeling good and those sorts of things.
No, I can attest to this. It is so much not addictive that I actually take less of it now for the same result than I did when I started. So when I started taking CBD, I took a full dose every day. I upped my dose when I realized I wasn't really getting a good effect from it. I doubled my dose for a month or so, and then back down. I'm now down to a half of a dose a day, and have just a great result, because my body got balanced after several months, and now I'm down to a half a dose a day. And I think that's what people will find with CBD. It's the opposite of a drug.
Yeah.
Instead of needing more and building a tolerance to it like you would to alcohol or nicotine or just other kinds of just drugs you get at the doctor, that prescription drugs. This is the opposite of that. Your your system resets itself, and you start, I think, maybe making more cannabidiol. I don't know what happens, but it does start to function a lot better, and then you just don't need as much.
And there's so much out there and continues to come out about utilizing CBD and assistance with helping people that are addicted to other opioids.
To other things. That's
so
exactly
using
right.
that as a tool to help them come off of those things that they're addicted to naturally, because not to go back through that science side of it, but this is something working with the balance of the body here.
And
this
the
isn't
mind.
this isn't treating something here. This is working to balance your body to get it restored to the power level it is to balance itself.
Yeah.
So
and working on the mind, and I think something like that works with, it balances out your stress and your anxiety level, is going to help you to not become addicted to anything else, or help you come off of that. Your stress, your anxiety level starts to come down. Even helps you better to cope with other pain that you might have.
Right.
So I've had people tell me that it doesn't necessarily yet make my pain go away, but it makes me better able to cope with the pain that I'm in.
Yeah.
And that's that's huge. So absolutely not. It's something that could help you go the other way from addiction.
Yeah, and bringing it to us. I mean, our daughter's a world-class athlete. She weighs every ounce of food that goes in her body. There's not anything going in her that isn't of the purest, utmost form. And she's takes this product religiously. And we would never expose our family or her to anything like that. That was going to be something
that's addictive. No way.
So we wanted to jump into. Okay, let's do the checklist. Drew and Christy's CBD checklist. This is what we have. People ask us to look at CBDs and say, hey, how does this look? Is this a good one? How's it compare? First thing we say is the hemp certified USDA organic, grown in the U.S.?
That's so important.
Yeah, so why certified USDA organic? Well, there's greatness to that, and there's also things that can be done even better and improved upon, and so you want to look for someone that is organically growing it, but then this USDA certification seal is huge. This is a stamp that's really saying, hey, this is product that the air is tested, the water's tested, all these different variables are tested.
Yeah, it's less than, it's further than a certain distance away from yet another field that might be using pesticides
all these things.
Or chemicals.
Yeah, you can't have chemicals spray over. You can't have seeds come over. It's a very extremely controlled environment with a plant that is extremely capable of absorbing. When you have the amount of nutrients in a hemp plant, it's got to come from somewhere.
And
it's got to get absorbed from somewhere, so it absorbs a lot from the soil. So super important.
Very important.
Second, is the product full spectrum?
Yeah, full spectrum. And what we mean by that, and probably it'd be nice to have a picture of the spectrum wheel, but what we mean by that is using the entire hemp plant. There are flavonoids, terpenes, vitamins, minerals, and not to mention over 130 cannabinoids in the hemp plant. So you want to be sure when you're looking for a CBD that you are purchasing something that is full spectrum. Very important that you get all of it. You could have a particular health challenge that requires magnesium, vitamin K, and CBA. And that would be completely different from something your husband might have or your wife might have that requires other things. So full spectrum, very, very important.
Great, thank you. Is the product extracted using chemicals? Because you have to get the oil from the hemp plant.
Right, that's big. I mean, I think the least expensive way, from what I understand, to extract any oil from a plant is to use alcohols and other chemicals. Problem with that is it stays in whatever you've extracted, and so you would be ingesting that.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a cheap process. If you're doing it right, the product is expensive, the process is expensive. So mankind is going to find a way to try to cut corners on that, which is what, distilling it, chemicals, that kind of, whichever way they can kind of figure out a faster, quicker
So you want to make sure that the product you are purchasing has been extracted using a cold press. So, I think that's probably the main. I think you can steam it out as well, but cold pressing or steaming it out are going to be the ways to get it out without chemicals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3 for us is the product, number 4, is the product free of dangerous preservatives, flavors, i.e. pet friendly. This thing, you see a lot of these pet friendly CBDs.
Right.
There's a lot of marketing going out. Just pay attention to this. What's the source of the plant? The pure source of the hemp plant. That's going to serve those things with the vertebrae. How you start to package it and say what it is and market what it is afterwards, that's just adding dollars and things to it.
Yeah,
It's adding bells and whistles, and then oftentimes it gets diffused out what that actual source product is that you're giving to your animal and yourself. So number 4 for us is free of dangerous
no preservatives, no
flavors.
xylitol, none of those things, no flavors.
Yeah, xylitol can be very, very bad for pets. Now, full spectrum hemp CBD can be very, very good for pets. It does all the same things. We have a horse that's on it that's 1,000 pounds. His coat's shiny. He works beautifully, so it's very good for animals. But there's things they can go in there that they can't take. Xylitol's a big one.
Right, it's a big one. So you make sure that yours is free of that. All right. So then bioavailability, the 5th thing.
Well, we talk about bioavailability because it's not what you take; it's what you absorb. You can take vitamins, and you can they can go through your body, and you can have 95% of it just go through it, and it doesn't process. So what's it matter? What are you spending your dollars on? What's absorbed in your system? So that's a big deal for us. Oil is oil. Oil and water don't mix. And we know that every CBD oil is an oil. We look for those that use a scientific approach that make that more bioavailable, and we look for them to prove that to us via third-party independent studies.
Want to be able to see a study. I've found a lot of companies, CBD companies, that will tell me that their product is extremely bioavailable, but they can't prove that with a third-party study to tell me how long. I'm looking for something that's like the UltraCell that is absorbed in the body up to 94% and stays in the body for a very long time. So
last thing we're looking for is labeling, really important. We're going to close out here. We're going to be in Gainesville this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be at the Wyndham Garden, Gainesville. We're going to be at the Thanksgiving Throwdown athletic event. So Saturday and Sunday, if you're anywhere near Gainesville, come check us out. You can see us at fitfamilycbd.com. We'll talk a little bit more about that labeling next time because that's a big deal. So thanks for joining us.